piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking field. We don't judge by skin, we judge by soul. So God can judge your sin, but bitch, you gotta go. Austin Metcalf lost his life at a track meet. The news won't say it, so I say it on a trap beat. And while they running from accountability, Lake and Riley was murdered while she was running in the streets. Who would've thought the girl who left the danger in Ukraine would get her life taken riding on a train by a nigga when she's repping Black Lives Matter? But you triggered by this song, tell me which is sadder.
A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Oh, there's too much crime in the streets these days, too much evil going down. If they get them up out of the bricks for a while, the judge turns them loose on the town. How many mothers gotta cry, how many children gotta die before we put an end to all this mess? We ought to do it like they did it way back in the day, cause granddaddy's way it works best. Who's gonna right them wrongs, my friend? Vengeance is the Lord's, but brother, justice ain't a sin. We need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Whoa, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking field. We don't judge by skin, we judge by soul. So God can judge your sin, but bitch, you gotta go. Austin Metcalf lost his life at a track meet. The news won't say it, so I say it on a trap beat. And while they running from accountability, Lake and Riley was murdered while she was running in the streets. Who would've thought the girl who left the danger in Ukraine would get her life taken riding on a train by a nigga when she's repping Black Lives Matter? But you triggered by this song, tell me which is sadder.
A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high at sundown, leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Oh, there's too much crime in the streets these days, too much evil going down. If they get them up out of the bricks for a while, the judge turns them loose on the town. How many mothers gotta cry, how many children gotta die
Caught on camera, a 10-year-old girl attacked by a teenage girl, and police are investigating it as a hate crime. Ed Gallick was first to report what happened. He's live at 10 with the very latest.
Yeah, outrageous video, even posted on the internet. 10-year-old white girl attacked by a young black girl. Police investigating it as a hate crime.
And she just started hitting me.
An ambush. The girl on the scooter never had a chance to defend herself. This attack went on for about 12 seconds till voices in the background finally called for it to stop.
I felt like being bullied on.
Sorry?
Being bullied on.
10-year-old Danielle Fair recently attacked on her block off Bel Air, Cleveland's west side. Adding to the outrage, this video posted on YouTube. A report shows the attacker 13. Police investigating this as a hate crime. A neighbor says she heard a racial slur. That she was called a cracker. Did you hear that? Or?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about that.
The little girl next door taunts my daughter too. My daughter and the two girls from down the street, she calls them crackers, tells them that she doesn't like them because they're white.
Looks planned, camera rolling even before the beating starts. We went to the home of the teen throwing punches.
Nobody was waiting. I'll have to talk to you to all come out in court.
I think it's a shame.
The victim's mom and dad want justice, telling us their daughter never said anything hateful. Dad says he even tried to talk to the other girl's grandfather instead of calling police. Things different now as Danielle and friends ride bikes. I mean, you never expected it.
I try to stay away from her every time I see her, so I don't get involved in anything again.
Well, the family says a Cleveland Police 1st District investigator has been working the case ever since we broke the story on Twitter. Comments blowing up. Hate crime or not, a vicious attack at any age.
Wednesday night, I'm Shari Williams. Gray Hall has the evening off. The big story on Action News tonight is the disturbing surveillance video released by police that shows a man being dragged down SEPTA platform steps. He was then viciously kicked and robbed. This violence comes just days before a possible walkout by transit workers. Action News reporter Brianna Smith joining us now live outside of the Philadelphia Police headquarters with details on this upsetting video. Brianna.
Definitely, Shari. And police say a group attacked the man in the subway, and now they're trying to arrest one more suspect with the public's help. But it's that ongoing violence that's a major concern for the transit police union and passengers.
People shouldn't have to go through that, and they should feel safe in their own community.
Some SEPTA subway riders are worried about their safety and their family after seeing this video of a 51-year-old man being dragged down the stairs, kicked and robbed. Philadelphia police are looking for this suspect in the blue hat. The incident unfolded at the 15th Street station on November 9th around 5 in the morning.
We had police, very close by. We're able to apprehend 3 of the individuals shortly after the incident, still looking for a 4th. It gets me angry that people continue to victimize our customers.
SEPTA Police Chief Chuck Lawson says 2 of the suspects are 16 years old and the other is 18. He says juvenile crime has been an issue since the beginning of the year. But they've seen violent crime, including robbery and aggravated assault, drop over the last several months because of new protocols.
We're hitting a larger area over the system. We have more folks looking at cameras in real time.
However, commuters hope to see more of a police presence.
There should be more cops out here and more people riding the train and make sure that we get home too.
I believe something needs more security or more police officers as well. But we need to come together as a community.
This comes amid a possible strike from SEPTA police officers that could start on Monday if the union doesn't reach a contract agreement with SEPTA. The union is asking for higher wages, full staffing, and safety measures for employees and passengers.
We're putting our contingency plans into place. Negotiations are still continuing. They're scheduled to talk nonstop this week.
And as for that suspect, police say if you see him, do not approach him. And if you have any information about the incident, contact police. Reporting outside police headquarters, Brianna Smith for Action News at 10 on PHL 17.
Tonight, Terrebonne Parish Sheriff deputies are trying to find the man who they say shot and killed a woman at random. Investigators say the 50-year-old suspect is dangerous and has a criminal history. As Eleanor Tabone reports, detectives say he was recklessly firing a gun and hit the victim's home.
She was the victim of a stray bullet.
On October 20th, Terrebonne Parish deputies were called to a trailer on Tasha Court in Gibson.
Some family members had not been able to reach a loved one of theirs. They subsequently went to the residence and found the deceased body of their relative.
Inside, they found the dead body of 52-year-old Stacey Boudreau.
These are the crimes that nightmares are made of.
The sheriff's office says she was shot.
We were able to determine that approximately 4 days prior to that, on October 16th, there was a complaint in that general area of gunfire that was exchanged between two gentlemen.
They believe the suspect didn't even know Boudreau. They're looking for 50-year-old Romalik Donnell Nash Sr., who is considered dangerous.
Here you have a totally innocent person who's in the confines of her home, where we should all have the sense of safety and security. And then because of the actions of an irresponsible person, I mean, she's tragically taken from her and her family.
We didn't know anything about it until Thursday when we were coming back from running errands, and they had the cops and stuff back here saying that somebody was in the house, deceased.
In Gibson, everyone knows everyone, but the sheriff's office says this particular area is known for high crime.
When we're home, we're inside. Like, we don't come outside. The only time I come outside is to get in my car, to drop my kids off at school, and to go to work, and that's it.
A neighbor says she's now considering moving.
Sometimes my kids, they play outside, and, and I stay in the house, so, I don't want to have to, not, I guess, punish them from being outside, just in case, I don't want them to get hit by a stray bullet.
Take a look at Romalik Donnell Nash Sr.'s picture. He's about 5'9", 230 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He faces 1 count of second-degree murder. Eleanor Tabone, Eyewitness News.
If you have any information or know where Nash is, you're asked to call the Terrebonne Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers.
A Clinton Township man gunned down, left to die in a Detroit street. Now, nearly 5 months later, a suspect has finally been charged. As Fox News' Mario Liu explains, the victim's mother was in court to see the accused murderer's face.
25-year-old Ivan Mirad was killed by a group of people he thought were his friends. Family says they were told by police the suspect said he just felt like killing someone. On Wednesday, one of Ivan's so-called friends faced a judge.
We're coping the best we can. We just want these people that are guilty for the crime of killing my son to be convicted and put away forever.
Paul Ratzloff says the pain of losing a child never goes away. April 16th, 25-year-old Ivan Mirad of Clinton Township was brutally murdered on Detroit's west side. Ivan was killed by a group of guys he called friends.
They decided, okay, well, we're going to party with this guy, and then we're going to beat him to a pulp and then kill him and then drag him underneath his car to his death. His face was totally smashed in. He was all rearranged. His teeth were all gone. The back of his head was caved in.
2 months ago, Ivan's parents made a heartbreaking, unforgettable plea on Crime Stoppers, seeking justice for their only son.
He was only 25 years old. Don't you have a heart for anything?
Fox 2 has learned their prayers have been answered. Wednesday, they received a call from a Detroit detective with news of an arrest.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say, whether orally or in writing, can be used against you.
25-year-old Antoine Heath is a habitual offender. He was arraigned in 36th District Court, charged with first-degree murder. Ivan's mother sat bravely in the courtroom and watched the whole thing.
They said there was no reason. He just felt like killing. I loved him more than anything. It was my only child. I just, it's like he took my life too.
Police believe 4 men were involved in Ivan's murder, and a police source tells me 4 men were arrested in connection with the case, but 3 were later released, while police continue to gather evidence, giving Ivan's father more time to prepare to look his son's killers in the eyes, something he's not quite yet ready to do.
Yeah, I'd like to take justice into my own hands, and sure, I'd like to do them the same way they did Ivan. Okay, more than anything in the world. But I can't do that because I'm not going to go to prison. I want to go to heaven and see him again and my parents, and I want to do things right. I just want justice taking care of these thugs.
Mario Liu, Fox 2 News.
The Harris County DA's office says former San Francisco 49ers tight end Kevin Ware Jr. has been charged for murder and tampering with evidence, specifically the corpse of his girlfriend, then 29-year-old Taylor Pomansky. Investigators say Pomansky was last seen on April 25th of last year at a party at her home. Officials called the circumstances suspicious and said she may have been a victim of foul play. Ware was initially questioned but not charged then. He was later arrested, though, in June last year for violating bond conditions on previous charges, and then listed as a suspect for this case. Texas EcuSearch spent hundreds of hours searching along several wooded areas along FM 2920. In December of 2021, Pomansky's remains were found.
Right now, 5:31 on WNCN today. Right now, a man accused of going on a deadly crime spree Monday in Raleigh is in a New York City jail awaiting extradition back to the state of North Carolina.
21-year-old Kendrick Gregory is charged with rape, robbery, and murder. Officers captured him yesterday hundreds of miles away from home in New York City.
And WNCN's Emma Wright live from the scene of one of Gregory's alleged crimes. She joins us now live with more. Emma?
Kendrick Gregory is accused of shooting and killing the owner of this pawn shop. We're told the owner was a popular guy in this area, a longtime business owner. This growing memorial really speaks to how well he was liked in the community. We've seen a few people come by over the course of the morning and drop off some items there. Friends of the owner said they are very glad Kendrick Gregory was caught. Relief in one Raleigh community after this man, Kendrick Gregory, is captured by police.
I'm glad they caught him because a lot of people was worried.
Police say Gregory's crime spree started Monday morning when he allegedly shot and robbed a man at a hotel on New Bern Avenue. Later, Gregory is accused of shooting and killing Tom Durant, the owner of Mr. Pawn on Capitol Boulevard.
I saw some dude running, and I'm driving past the store, and I look in there, and then I see the guy on the ground.
Police say Gregory wasn't done. Later that night, he's accused of raping a 15-year-old girl.
And the guy held her at gunpoint. He had two guns, and he made her get in his car.
Police say Gregory took off in a dark blue BMW, which he later abandoned in Raleigh's Brentwood neighborhood before taking off to New York. Neighbors watched as police searched for the alleged killer.
They had like night vision lights and stuff.
I just saw them out with their guns, so that's why I didn't come out.
Kendrick Gregory is in jail in New York. He will be brought back to Raleigh to face those charges, but police haven't said when he will be brought back.
A crime spree through Raleigh that started with a shooting and ended with a murder and rape will spend the rest of his life in prison. WREL's Amanda Lamb was in court. She joins us now live from the Wake County Justice Center with emotional reaction from the victim's family. Amanda?
Deborah, this happened almost 6 years ago, back in 2015. But since that time, the court ruled that Kendrick Gregory wasn't competent to stand trial until now. Now, his defense attorneys argued here at the Justice Center that he did what he did because he suffers from mental illness. The state argued that, yes, he has some mental illness, but that he knew what he was doing. After Kendrick Gregory was arrested in 2015, he had an outburst in court.
So the Illuminati, I'm the Antichrist. I'm here to take over the world.
Gregory was deemed incompetent to stand trial.
And the Empire State Building is going to go up in flames.
In July, the case finally got underway. Gregory was convicted of killing pawn shop owner Thomas Durand, of raping a 15-year-old girl, of shooting another man at a hotel, and of multiple robberies. His attorneys argued that he suffers from schizoaffective disorder.
It was essentially us saying, yes, he did this, but where was his frame of mind when everything was going on?
At sentencing, Durand's daughter made an emotional victim impact statement over Zoom.
The world is a horribly sad place, Dad, and it's even worse without you here. I'm still waiting to wake up from this horrible nightmare.
And he loved his family.
For Durand's wife, it's been a long 6 years waiting for justice.
Waiting while the jury was out was kind of nerve-wracking. But once it was in, it was like, okay, we're done with this. He's not going to be out again or hurt anyone else. And that was the most important thing.
Now, Durand's family tells me they are strong and resilient, and they are going on with life just like he would have wanted them to. Defense attorneys told me today they don't think Gregory even understands what happened here in the courtroom today. Deborah.
Information for you tonight about a woman who was shot multiple times outside of a convenience store in Fayetteville. We now know that woman was pregnant and lost her unborn child. WRL's Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Bays talked to her about what happened.
Well, this was breaking news when we reported it on Monday. Sky 5 flew over the Cumberland Food Mart as this was unfolding. Now, we were originally told that the victim was shot 3 or 4 times, but I talked with Brittany Rich this morning. She said she was shot 7 times. She was pregnant, and one of the bullets went into her stomach. 25-year-old Brittany Rich says she had no idea the 3 men standing near the ice machine outside the Cumberland Food Mart were up to no good. That's her silver 2010 Dodge Avenger outside the store. Security camera video shows Rich leaving the store, and then the confrontation begins.
The guy said, "Give me that," and grabbed my keys. And that's when I thought he was playing because he was young. I was like, what? And then I went to reach after him, and he shot me.
Rich says she was shot several times. It all happened so fast.
He shot me the first time. Actually, I think I was shot 2 or 3 times before I really realized that he had a gun. I looked at him and he had a gun in his hand, but I heard it and I felt it, but I was in shock.
After being shot, you see her stumble around the car for protection, then go back inside the store for help.
When I got in the store, I realized I was bleeding out and I lay down and everybody was standing around me. Nobody was really helping.
Meanwhile, the suspects couldn't get the car started. Rich says you have to know how to jiggle the keys just right to make it work. So you see them jump from the vehicle and flee on foot. Rich was taken to the hospital where they told her she was shot twice in the elbow. She says she can't feel her arm. She was also shot in her thigh, lower back, and stomach. She says she was 4 months pregnant and lost her unborn child.
I had stomach surgery. I got 13 staples in my stomach. They took the bullets out.
Now, authorities are relying on footage from that security camera to try to identify a suspect. If you know anything about this, get in touch with Fayetteville Police. In Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WREL News.
I've never been in a situation like that. I didn't see the entirety of the video, but not one person running over to comfort that woman through all of that. What a horrendous situation.
Moving on now to a crime spree in one of Atlanta's most wealthy neighborhoods. 22-year-old Galen Newsom is under arrest after shooting at 3 different joggers and running over a man. The wife of one of the victims is now speaking out.
The crime has gotten worse in Atlanta. It hadn't affected so many people so closely until today.
Senior reporter Jen Smith is joining me now with more on this one. And Jen, this is a real shocker. Do we know if the shooter had any motive for this crime spree, or was this random?
Well, Thomas, police believe that the shooter, Galen Newsom, was suffering some kind of mental health breakdown when this happened. He shot father of 3, Andrew Worrell. Worrell was out on his morning jog. He was injured in the hip and the leg. Good Samaritans rushed to help him, and Newsom fled in his car. A short while later, police received reports of 2 different joggers being shot at in the same area. Now, luckily, those 2 joggers were not injured. They did pass along a description of Newsom's car to the authorities, but it took another 3 hours before police caught up with him, and that was after he attacked a 4th person, this time a man who was taking out his trash. He deliberately ran him over. Newsom has been charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm.
Now, Jen, we know that the first man who was shot is doing well after surgery. He's been able to return home, while the man who was run over is now suffering from some very serious injuries. Jen Smith, please keep us posted on this story. Thank you.
Thank you. Turning now to I-Team 8. Answers are surfacing about a story we've been following here for days. This is a substitute teacher. He was attacked by a student at Perry Meridian High School earlier this month. You can see that teacher here with the black eye that was left. After our story aired, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office, they reached out to him about their investigation. I-Team 8's Cody Fisher is digging further into this after his initial reporting on that case. Cody.
Dakari, according to the substitute teacher, Rob Gooding, the prosecutor's office will be meeting with the student and his parents next week as part of their investigation.
Do you feel one step closer to getting that justice?
Yes, I hope.
According to Gooding, the teenager will face consequences if he and his family don't show up to the meeting next week with the prosecutor's office.
If they don't show up, boom, they're going to automatic issue a warrant for his arrest.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office would not speak directly about the investigation, but said that when juveniles are not immediately taken into custody for a crime, their investigation works like this. First, law enforcement investigates. They then hand it over to the prosecutor's office. The Juvenile Probation Department works to gather more information about the kid's personal history. Once that review and the investigation is done, their office will make a charging decision.
What do you think is an appropriate punishment?
I'm not in that position. It's, you know, I don't know, but he should be, you know, held accountable.
You wanting him to face consequences at this young age of life, you're almost in a way wanting to teach him a lesson to help prevent him from getting in trouble in the future.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Since our story aired, Gooding says he's received a lot of messages of support from the community, including a text from a former student.
He messaged me and he said, Mr. Gooding, I'm sorry this happened, and if you need anything, let me know.
What does that mean to you that they took the time to reach out to you like that?
It made me feel good.
Mr. Gooding's story is now getting national attention. The Uvalde Foundation for Kids, which was founded after the school shooting in Texas in 2022, has said their nonprofit organization is now reviewing this case and will be seeking answers and accountability from the school district. I'm going to continue to follow this story closely, and I'll let you know if that student is ever charged by the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. Reporting, Cody Fisher, Wish TV, ITM8.
All of us deserved to live and die with dignity. Instead, video taken from a hidden camera installed by his family shows his calls for help going unanswered. And the nurses laughing when he needs their help the most. The 11 Alive investigators had to fight to get the video from the nursing home operators who tried to appeal its release all the way to the state's highest court. Tonight, 11 Alive's investigator Andy Parati has the story the nursing home didn't want you to see, and it may make you question how your own loved ones may be being treated.
When Fred Aboud looks across the street, he feels empty.
Can't ask for a better neighbor.
He's talking about James Dempsey, who died in 2014, a decorated World War II veteran. He was 89 years old. Aboud assumed his neighbor's passing was natural. But hidden camera video obtained by the 11 Alive investigators captured here inside the Northeast Atlanta Health and Rehabilitation Center where Dempsey died tells a different story.
I got a call from the terrace.
This is a deposition with Wanda Knuckles, a nursing supervisor working the night Dempsey died. It's part of a lawsuit Dempsey's family filed against a nursing home. Here she explains what she claims she was doing moments before Dempsey stopped breathing.
From the time you came in, you took over doing chest compressions from Miss Loyce, correct?
Yes.
Until the time the paramedics arrived, were you giving CPR continuously?
Yes.
Those were the answers the nurse provided before she knew hidden camera video existed. Here's what actually happened.
Who just came into the room?
That's me.
You came into the room at 6:23:10, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. And contrary to the way you testified previously, there's no one doing CPR, is there?
No.
That really wasn't the truth, was it?
Sir, that was an honest mistake.
Do you believe her?
Absolutely not. And she called it an honest mistake. That's not an honest mistake. That's a deliberate thing to say, covering up, a mess.
The video shows Dempsey calling for help at least 6 times before he goes unconscious. Records show Dempsey is found unresponsive at 5:28 a.m. It took almost an hour to call 911. When a nurse does respond, she fails to check any of his vital signs.
If you witnessed this nurse, had you seen this as it was happening, would you have written her up?
Yes.
It doesn't stop there. When the nurses had difficulty getting Dempsey's oxygen machine operational, something struck them as funny.
And was there something funny that was happening?
I can't even remember all that, as you can see.
It makes me nauseated.
We showed the video to Elaine Harris, a retired nursing professor and expert in adult critical care.
In 43 years of nursing, I have never seen such disregard for human life in a healthcare setting as what I witnessed.
The nursing home operators declined to be interviewed. Instead, a spokesperson sent this letter to say they are saddened by the events which occurred more than 3 years ago. It goes on to say the facility has new leadership, and a 2017 state inspection found it was deficiency-free.
I mean, it's just something really hard to accept.
A neighbor remembered for his kindness.
To see him die like that,
who died begging for help that came too late.
it's just awful.
It seems almost unbelievable that a father of two could be murdered in broad daylight over seemingly nothing at all. The judge in this case Monday ordering that suspect for a competency exam to assess his mental health before denying bond. Devereaux Johnson surrendering to police, repeating praise to God Almighty after allegedly shooting and killing his neighbor last Saturday. And on Monday, he's charged with murdering Nathan Morris. The Michigan GOP, who Nathan is affiliated with, put out a statement saying Johnson pulled a gun on the victim after his young daughter touched mulch in his yard while on a walk. Nathan apparently sent his family home and went to defuse the situation with Johnson, but was murdered instead. That has not been confirmed by police. Canton police did confirm Johnson instigated the argument, then after the shooting barricaded himself in his home while officers tried to save Nathan. He died at the hospital.
I will refer to forensic for determinations as to both competency and criminal responsibility.
Judge James Plakis remanding Johnson to custody, no bond given. He won't be home anytime soon in this Canton neighborhood where this happened near Sheldon and Cherry Hill. People out here are stunned.
Murder on Cornell happened about 100 yards away from me.
Neighbor Leonard Zabowski still trying to understand why or how this 35-year-old father of two was killed like this.
Fear, anxiety, like I say, 34 years quiet neighborhood, never an episode like this ever.
Johnson lived in this neighborhood for 12 years and had multiple contacts with Canton PD for assaulting neighbors and other incidents of him assaulting police officers.
You never know. Anyone with a criminal mind can get a mortgage and move anywhere.
Nathan has two daughters, 5 and 2 years old, works at Ford as an engineer, and recently got into politics where he's affiliated with the Michigan GOP in Wayne. Their statement on X went on to say, quote, Nathan is one of those few guys who are near perfect. He would do no harm and think no harm. In addition to Devereaux Johnson's criminal charges we already mentioned, he does have some more criminal sexual conduct charges from the 90s. Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2 News.
Charged with murder. A Canton man appears in court to be formally charged for allegedly gunning down a father of two. Now, those charges today come 48 hours after the shooting on Saturday morning in a Canton neighborhood.
Now, this is who we're talking about. Prosecutors say 47-year-old Devereaux Christopher Johnson fatally shot 35-year-old Nathan Morris. He's now charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, and other felony firearm charges. Let's get out to Victor Williams now. Victor, you were in the courtroom for that arraignment late this afternoon.
Yes, that's right, Damon and Karen. And it really did not take long for that arraignment to play out. But it's just something to know that all of this escalated from a verbal altercation.
Mr. Johnson, I need you to give me your name.
Devereaux Christopher Johnson, Your Honor.
Devereaux Christopher Johnson sent before a judge at 35th District Court. Less than 48 hours before this moment, he was accused of killing father of two Nathan Morris. Now he's facing a list of charges.
Count 1, homicide, murder in the first degree, premeditated. That's a felony, carries up to life without parole. Count 2, Weapons, firearm, possession by a felon. That's 5-year felony. Counts 3 and 4 are weapons, felony, firearm, both 2-year felonies.
The officer involved in the case recommended a bond worth $5 million, no 10%.
I believe that Mr. Johnson is a flight risk as he has family in Indiana, as well as ties to Chicago. And there's been documentation of him traveling to Vietnam in 2022.
To which Johnson's attorney, Wade McCann, gave his reasoning for that, as he was once in the service.
My client was in Vietnam because he served the country in Vietnam.
The question was then raised if Johnson was in his right mind during the incident.
We are requesting referral to the Center for Forensic Psychiatry on the issue of competency and criminal responsibility.
In the end, Johnson wasn't given a bond at all.
You're to have no contact of any kind with Nathan Robert Wells Morris's family. So you shall not be telephoning them or directly or indirectly trying to communicate with them by any means whatsoever.
Now, Johnson is due back in court on August the 23rd. We did check records, and records show that he is a sex offender. But let's switch gears over to Mr. Nathan Morris. Coming up at 6 p.m., we're talking to his pastor, and we're getting his thoughts on this tragic situation. In Canton, Victor Williams, Local 4.
Thanks for staying on top of that, Victor.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says they believe that they have found the body of Anastasia Gilley, a woman who has been missing for nearly a week. The body was located near Headland, Alabama.
Gilley lived in Marianna and had ties to the Tallahassee area. Thank you for joining us. I'm Channing Frampton.
And I'm Ava Van Valen. ABC 27's Ariel Schiller is in Jackson County, where her co-workers are reacting to the news.
So, Ariel, what did they have to say about Anastasia?
Channing, many of them were too emotional to do an interview, understandably, because, you know, this is very shocking news. But they did tell me off camera that she was very bubbly, ambitious, and that she was just trying to make a life for herself.
It was a huge shock to everybody.
Jacob Broadhead worked with Anastasia Gilley at Jim's Buffet in Marianna. He says hearing the news that a body believed to be Gilley was found early Wednesday morning in Headland, Alabama is shocking. Jackson County Sheriff Donald Edenfield says after hours of searching, he had gone to bed after praying they would find her. 2 hours later, he got the call.
A body of a deceased victim was found in the Headland, Alabama area off of a paved road. At this time, we do not have 100%, do not know 100% that this is our victim. We feel pretty certain.
Sheriff Edenfield says the investigation started several days ago.
She was a resident of Jackson County, and her dad actually reported her missing several days ago, and at that time the investigation began into her whereabouts.
Sheriff Edenfield says through their investigation they figured out that a suspect identified as Marquise Devin McLeod and Gilley knew each other but wouldn't expand on their relationship. He was arrested several days ago for violating his parole. He's now charged with capital murder during kidnapping first degree.
Certain investigative techniques of tracking individuals was used, and over the last several days we've been in several areas in Jackson County and Houston County, Alabama.
Broadhead says work won't be the same without Gilley.
She was definitely like family, and this is a family, knit business. So, yeah, and I think we're all still in shock.
He also had a message for her family.
Know that she was loved here, and that we cared about her a great deal, and we loved her as one of our own.
Sheriff Edenfield says they're waiting for autopsy results to confirm that the body they found is Gilley. I did reach out to the Houston County coroner in Alabama to see if they could provide any more details about the case, but I have not heard back.
grandfather was gunned down in an act of road rage.
And now the man who pulled the trigger is going to prison for 40 years. The deadly act was caught on camera, and prosecutors say this video was pivotal in getting the family justice.
ABC 13's Alex Bozarjan joins us live with details tonight. Alex.
Road rage shootings aren't common in Galveston County, according to the sheriff's office. But here in Houston, a very different story. Gregory Sherritt's wife can't help but wonder, why him? Why did Messiah Pickens McCoy choose violence and kill her husband? For her, the only silver lining here is he'll spend 4 decades behind bars. Oh my God. One of those several shots hit 67-year-old Gregory Sherritt in the back of the head, killing him. The dashcam video would later lead to 23-year-old Messiah Pickens McCoy pleading guilty to murder on Tuesday. Motive in this case was road rage, according to the Galveston County DA's office. Sherritt was attempting to change lanes, apparently at the same time as Pickens McCoy. D-Bird Sherritt, now a widow, is still too distraught to speak on camera 2 years after her husband's murder, but she did share chilling details of his final moments, saying, quote, "He drowned in his own blood after the bullet ricocheted through his head. This is just a nightmare, so surreal. Our family's lives will never be the same. Our youngest grandkids will never know what a generous and creative, energetic man he was." Let's go. Another shooting investigation was going on nearby on Shiloh Avenue, according to Texas City PD. And one officer heard the gunshots, began pursuing Pickens McCoy, and later arrested him. Road rage shootings aren't common in Galveston County, according to the sheriff's office.
Safe Roads initiative that we...
Unlike in Houston, where police just initiated a new crackdown involving a multi-agency partnership which will increase patrols on roadways, starting with the Southwest Freeway. Sherritt's widow says the fact that she lost her husband to road rage is still surreal. He was the beloved owner of Bayou Bistro and Bar, a father, and forever her soulmate. She said, quote, "Messiah stole precious time from Greg, and in turn deprived family and the community of an ever creative and ever generous loving man. There's absolutely nothing to be done that would be enough. My Greg is never coming back. There's just an empty space that can never be filled."
Tonight, we're learning about the attorney who was shot and killed while trying to calm down an angry customer at McDonald's. It happened this weekend at the restaurant off Katy Freeway in Chimney Rock. Tonight, his sister is only talking with us here at ABC 13, and our Brooke Taylor is live outside the McDonald's with their conversation. Brooke?
Police tell me that the shooter was inside of this McDonald's. He was angry with employees, demanding a refund because something was wrong with his order. A witness tried stepping in, the victim there, trying to calm things down. Eventually, detectives say the both of them were outside. There was a heated argument, and that's when the customer went in his car. He grabbed his gun, shot him, and drove off. A flag flown at half-staff outside of the McDonald's where local attorney Jeff Limmer lost his life.
He loved fiercely. He loved his family and his friends, always laughing, always making jokes, and just loving life.
His sister tells Only 13 she was at her daughter's graduation with her parents when they got the devastating news.
He had gone over there. I guess he goes over there frequently. He lives pretty close by, and just went over there to maybe get some work done. And this situation happened where this guy was so displeased with his order that he just threw a fit.
According to detectives, Limmer was at the McDonald's off of I-10 near Chimney Rock Road when he was trying to calm down an angry customer, upset with employees about his order. Limmer is an associate at a local law firm, and his sister says he spent his career trying to help others. So it didn't come as a surprise when detectives told them that's what he was doing in his final moments.
Knowing Jeff, I mean, he's the one that's he's always the one that's like, calm down, it's not that big of a deal. And just, I guess, try to just divert the situation. He's always just wanted to fight for the little guy and do the right thing. And he was very staunch in his convictions and was just conservative in his values and his morals.
Police are searching for the killer, who they say drove off in an early 2000s blue Ford pickup. As Limmer's family awaits justice, his sister says they're proud that he stood up for what he believed was right.
A good Samaritan who was trying to do the right thing, and just not letting, those employees at McDonald's have to go through.
A man convicted of killing 2 women in Los Angeles in 1984 will return to death row. His original sentence was overturned 10 years ago by the California Supreme Court. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cota-Robles was in court as one victim's daughter delivered her impact statement.
Kevin Haley sat before a judge this morning to be sentenced for murdering 2 Los Angeles women 30 years ago when he was only 20 years old. It was 5 months ago that a jury recommended Haley be sentenced to death. Judge Kathleen Kennedy agreed, saying the defendant's crimes are among the worst this court has ever seen.
Don't put your hands around a woman's neck and squeeze the life out of her accidentally.
Haley was initially sentenced to death in 1988 for one of the murders, but in 2004, the California Supreme Court reversed the special circumstance allegations, resulting in his retrial. This time around, the jury ultimately ruled the special circumstances were true, that Kevin Haley murdered his first victim, 55-year-old Dolores Clement, during the commission of rape, sodomy, robbery, and burglary. He was also convicted of killing 56-year-old Laverne Stolze under similar circumstances. Beth Stolze is her daughter and was 25 years old when her mother was brutally murdered.
I've battled deep depression, have been under medical care, I've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I've had years of nightmares.
Her mother was getting ready for bed when she was attacked inside her apartment and beat with a 2x4.
Please figure out how to carry out this sentence. Don't risk him ever getting released or escaping. Give the taxpayers some relief and give Laverne Stolze justice.
Acting as his own attorney, Haley admitted he wanted a death sentence. He then spoke before the court and said the justice system is broken, claiming he never sexually assaulted the women.
I didn't think it was going to be as much, but I got over here, and as soon as I turned the corner up off of Dixie, I seen cops. And I thought, oh, geez, something's got to be something major,
Tony Carroll and several others were watching as LMPD searched this home on Bachman Drive for evidence in a homicide investigation. Carroll says he couldn't believe what he saw investigators carry out of the home.
A couple AK-47s, a bunch of handguns. They had them all in bags to where you really couldn't see them, but you could see the AK-47s because they're walking out carrying them like this. That's just something we don't need in this neighborhood.
Police say the guns found inside the house were stolen during a robbery and homicide Friday night on Manslick Road. Justin Kern was shot and killed in his second-floor apartment. And police say 18-year-old Gamir Murphy and a 16-year-old boy were responsible. Murphy lives in the house on Bachman Drive.
It's just getting bad. The kids nowadays, we just got to do something with them, keep an eye on them.
Police caught up with Murphy outside of this convenience store about a block from his home. They say he had a loaded gun in the waistband of his pants when he walked up to detectives while they were talking to his mother. According to police, later Sunday night, he admitted to his involvement in the crime.
That was good. I'm glad they connected it all together and got it off the street, Like I said, we don't need it around here,
This morning, the judge called Murphy a danger to the society. She set his bond at $500,000 full cash. He is expected to be back in court next week. As for that 16-year-old who's also charged, no information is being released to us about him because he is a minor.
But also new tonight, we're learning more about a deadly weekend shooting in Burlington. Court records say there was a shooting at Chavy's Bar and Grill after a fight involving several people, and one woman was killed. 22-year-old Kayshawn Rice of Mount Pleasant is now charged with second-degree murder. Police say the victim named Rice as the shooter before she died. In a Facebook post, the bar says it's looking at ways to improve security.
A Mount Pleasant, Iowa man is facing a second-degree murder charge after a shooting in Burlington late last night.
Burlington officers arrested 22-year-old Kayshawn Rice after receiving a report of a shooting on 1500 Agency Street. Authorities say the victim was a woman who was taken to the Southeast Iowa Regional Medical Center for a gunshot wound. She died from her injury. Rice was arrested after he was found in the 2100 block of East Washington Street in Mount Pleasant near the police department. Officers say a warrant had been placed for Rice's arrest for violating a no-contact order. Rice faces multiple charges. Those include murder in the second degree, reckless use of a firearm, and intimidation with a dangerous weapon. He's being held at the Des Moines County Correctional Center without bond. The victim's identity is being withheld pending family notification. The department asks anyone with information or tips related to the case to contact either the Burlington Police Department or Crime Stoppers.
The case against one of two men accused of assaulting a gyro shop owner on the South Side is headed to trial. Legal editor Julie Grant has more.
The victim testified that one punch to his face was enough to break his nose and cause him to need several stitches. Police say there were two men there at the time, but today the magistrate judge found that there was only enough evidence against one of the men to send the case to common pleas court. Ivan Fields and Jeremy Rupp waved at each other, but didn't have anything to say to our camera after their preliminary hearing. Rupp was all smiles after the judge dismissed the conspiracy charges against both men. This means the case against Rupp ends here. Fields, however, is still facing an aggravated assault charge. Police say it was Fields who punched Steven Zarglis in the face back on September 19th. According to Zarglis, the men were in his restaurant, Lesbos Gyros, on East Carson Street. After they ordered food, Zarglis says Fields started calling him the N-word. Zarglis says it was when he went outside to lock up for the night that he was punched. This photo was taken right after the incident, but Zarglis testified today he still has problems with his eye. Attorney Tom Will represents Fields and very respectfully declined to do an interview. He told us off camera that Fields does not have any prior criminal history. There is video of the assault. According to the criminal complaint, it was captured by one of the district attorney's office cameras on East Carson Street. We thought there was a chance it could be played during the preliminary hearing today, but it wasn't. However, it will surely play a role as this case proceeds to common pleas court.
5.5 years after he killed 72-year-old Kathleen Lundy, the jury recommends that Warren Hardy should receive the death penalty. Hardy was convicted of capital murder yesterday for the August 2016 killing on Moreland Point in front of Lundy's home. News 19 investigative reporter Dallas Parker covered the trial in its entirety and spoke exclusively to the murder victim's husband after the jury's recommendation for death.
It's been an emotional 2 weeks for the families involved in the Warren Hardy case, especially so for the family of Kathleen Lundy, who sat through days of testimony and evidence in her death. But Friday, Lundy's husband says justice was served here at the Madison County Courthouse. Friday afternoon, a Madison County jury decided Warren Hardy should be sentenced to death for the murder of Kathleen Lundy. Lundy's husband spoke exclusively with News 19 after the decision came down.
I'm definitely satisfied with the verdict.
Rusty Lundy says he appreciated the jury saw the crime the same way he did.
I believe in karma and that your actions affect your fate. And I also believe that death row is a place for special people, and Mr. Hardy is one of those special people.
During the trial, Lundy testified about the effect his wife's death had on his entire family, from the adults to the children.
We're so relieved. It's taken over 5.5 years to finally get justice.
Hardy had no reaction to the jury's decision and had nothing to say after being escorted from the courtroom in cuffs. Mr. Hardy, anything you want to say to the victim's family? Hardy testified on his own behalf, which his attorney Larry Marsilli said is unusual in capital cases. Marsilli said Hardy testified because he believed he was being tried for a crime he wasn't guilty of. The jury's recommendation for the death penalty is not the final say. Madison County Circuit Judge Chris Comer will make the final decision as to Warren Hardy's fate come sentencing on August 25th. For now, reporting in Huntsville, Dallas Parker, News 19.
A memorial sits in the parking lot of the Safeway in American Canyon, where store employee Nathan Garza was shot and killed. The 18-year-old was at work when he was confronted and shot outside the store around noon on Sunday. A motive isn't known. Authorities say the two men did not appear to know each other and did not interact with each other before the shooting. The gunman fled in a Cadillac, but was spotted a short time later jumping fences and running through backyards. Napa County Sheriff's investigators arrested the suspect, 23-year-old Christopher Young of Martinez. They say they found a .45 caliber handgun inside his abandoned Cadillac. The suspect has lawyered up, refusing to answer any questions about the shooting. That suits the victim's family just fine.
I have nothing to say to him. He doesn't need to answer any of my questions. Nothing will bring my son back at this
Tracy
point.
Garza is in shock over the loss of her son, who she says stood up for people.
My son was a piece of me, and a piece that has gone.
He was the youngest of 7 siblings, the rest all sisters.
My little brother loves his family very much, and he always treated his sisters and every single family member with the utmost love and respect.
Garza just graduated from high school in Fairfield. School district spokesman Tim Gorey says his death has hit everyone hard.
It hurts really badly for the staff who got exceptionally close to him.
Garza was passionate about 2 things. One of them was fishing. The other was baseball since he was little. He had already started training with the team at Diablo Valley College.
His ultimate dream was to play for the Oakland A's.
And Henry tells us that the victim was bringing online orders outside to customers in the parking lot, but why the shooting happened remains a big mystery. Authorities also tell us there was no theft, no confrontation over masks, and no chase from the store, nothing. So this investigation continues.
Police say the driver, 24-year-old Nathaniel.
Now to our other top story tonight. The Renton police chief is demanding answers after the 19-year-old accused of murdering a handyman was given a $50,000 bail and released from jail just 27 hours later. Part of that attack. Now to our other top story tonight. The Renton police chief is demanding answers after the 19-year-old accused of murdering a handyman was given a $50,000 bail and released from jail just 27 hours later. Part of that attack.
Eight 911. What is the address? We are at Daytona Park, and my son
My son was like somebody like cut his throat. I wouldn't know. Oh snap! Somebody, he was on the phone and somebody just came and it cut him. He got his throat.
A frightening weekend for a family from out of town here for the races. They were going to the Slingshot when their 13-year-old son had his throat slashed by an apparent random stranger. I'm News 6's Mike Valenti, and we're learning a little bit more about what unfolded on the night in question. The person using that weapon, Daytona Beach police say, was 44-year-old Jermaine Lynn Long, seen here in cuffs in this video taken by an employee who works along the beach. Long is charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. In a mostly redacted report, police wrote that medical attention was required for the victim's neck due to a, quote, severe laceration. Monday morning, a woman emailed News 6 identifying herself as the victim's mother. She wrote that her son is 13 years old and their family was in town for the Daytona 500. The woman called the attacker a deranged man and a random stranger. She said her son was taken to a hospital where he got 13 stitches. And she claimed, quote, the doctors said if the knife had cut 1 more millimeter, he could have died. It was on the overpass leading to Joe's Crab Shack where police say Jermaine Long was spotted and where they took him into custody. Now, we looked up Jermaine Long, and it seems like he has a history with police. As recently as January, he was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Authorities in that case say he was using a bladed
Our
weapon.
top story tonight, take a look at this one. A teenager has their throat slashed in a random attack. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Brown.
Good evening. I'm Luann Sorrell. This all happened right by the Daytona Beach Pier, and this man is accused of attacking that boy. Fox 35's Bailey Bockover is joining us live now in Daytona Beach. So, Bailey, you spoke to that teenager and his parents tonight.
Yeah, the 13-year-old says he was just trying to walk back to his hotel Saturday night. The suspect came out of nowhere and slashed the teen's throat.
As soon as we realized what happened, I could see his neck gashed wide open. I could see all the way down to the meat.
13-year-old Sullivan Clark was on his phone walking with his parents near the Slingshot ride when police say Jermaine Long walked up and slashed his throat. His mom, Lori, initially thought it was a robbery.
I thought he was stealing Sully's phone. As soon as he slashed him, I yelled. I said, hey.
Sullivan's father, Jared, says the sight was something he can never unsee.
The doctor told him 1 millimeter deep, and we'd be having a different conversation.
Sullivan says a split-second glance at a boardwalk ride is likely the only reason he survived.
The crazy thing is, I turned at the perfect time because I was on the phone and I happened to be looking up at like the Slingshot and I turned. And that's how he got the side of my neck and not right here.
Police say they found Long hiding near the overpass on the pier and arrested him. Andrew Walker, who works nearby, says he talked to the suspect just minutes before the attack.
I see the man come down in cuffs, and I was just like blown away because that's the same dude I just seen walking past that just stabbed somebody in the neck.
Sullivan tells me he just wants to look at his attacker and ask why he did it. But police say so far there's absolutely no motive for this unprovoked attack.
It's a disturbing story out of the city. Toledo police looking for 3 kids who shot a 9-year-old with a BB gun multiple times. This happened last Thursday at the West Toledo Branch Library. Here is some surveillance video right now. According to police, this boy was getting his bike in the parking lot when the 3 approached him and started shooting. He was struck with those BB pellets at least 24 times. The surveillance was given to us by the boy's mom and shows the boy being chased by the shooters. These pictures, also given to us by the mom, show the injuries all over his body. Understandably, she is very angry. The boy says he did not recognize the shooters.
All right, well, 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly, the man accused of killing 3 people and hurting 3 others in a mobile mass shooting, facing a judge for the first time this year. He was in court earlier this morning.
Lakita Johnson was live inside of that courtroom, and she's joining us live right now. Lakita, what happened?
Yeah, ladies, what we learned, first of all, this was Ezekiel's first public hearing, according to court records. And what we also learned is that, he now faces nearly 30 charges. 2 additional charges have been added on, including first-degree murder and reckless endangerment. And I want you to take a look at your screens there. These are the 3 victims that he's accused of killing. That's Dwayne Amir Tunstall, Allison Parker, and Richard Clark. Now, investigators say Kelly started his shooting rampage around 1 a.m. on September 7th. That's when police say Kelly killed Dwayne Tunstall. Hours after that, around 4:30 p.m., Kelly began broadcasting on Facebook Live to show people his shooting spree. Police say he went to 8 different locations. At one point, South Haven police even say Kelly carjacked a man and took his Dodge Challenger at a Raceway gas station on State Line Road in South Haven. Now, shortly after that, that's when Memphis police started a chase with Kelly, and 4 hours later, he was eventually arrested after crashing the car he was driving in White Haven. Again, Kelly now faces nearly 30 charges, including that first-degree murder and conspiring to commit terroristic acts and reckless endangerment. Now, he's already been indicted on that first-degree murder count in the shooting death of Dwayne Tunstall. Kelly is also facing charges in South Haven, including receiving stolen property, armed carjacking, and a felon in possession of a firearm. Again, guys, we're going to keep you guys updated as this case continues to go on. Also, his lawyer did plead not guilty. So his next court date will be on April the 13th. We'll be there for that at 9 a.m. For now, Memphis, I'm Lakita Johnson. Back to you.
One of those soldiers died. 22-year-old Shamar Duncan faces 1 murder charge and 2 attempted murder charges for that shooting. Court documents reveal the shooting started as a fight on South Meridian. Witnesses saw the Dutch soldiers fighting another group of men. When things escalated, the soldiers tried to get back to their hotel. That's when witnesses say a pickup pulled up and someone opened fire. Investigators say witnesses and video from downtown businesses helped lead them to a suspect.
The life taken due to senseless gun violence of a hero is disgraceful and cowardly. To those injured, you are courageous, and you can continue to be in our thoughts.
26-year-old Simi Poetsima died. 2 other men were hurt. Now, the Dutch soldiers were in Indiana for a training exercise at Southern Indiana Military Base.
The sights and sounds of a parent trying to get her kid off a Denver school bus. Now that mom faces charges for assaulting the school bus driver.
Both parents and the school district say there is a lot more to what happened. Denver Public Schools and Denver Police are now investigating. The school bus driver and another employee are on paid leave.
And 9 News reporter Nelson Garcia joins us now to tell us what led up to all this. And Nelson, by all accounts, this escalated quickly.
That's right, Kim, Kyle. On Wednesday, the school bus left the Northfield Denver Green School on its way to make the usual drop-offs. When DPS says the driver had to stop the bus twice because the students were becoming too unruly. The second time it stopped, it was near where parents were waiting for their kids, and that's when the situation got worse. From the video shot by a mom, the kids inside can be heard, some of them screaming for their parents. The bus had been stopped for about 30 minutes on Kearney Street, just outside of another school, near where parents were waiting for their kids. Parent Janelle Williams says her son was not sure why the driver had to stop.
He didn't really understand exactly why the bus stopped. The commotion that was on the bus, it seemed to be maybe a rowdy child, something that happens on buses all the time. So he didn't even understand why the bus was parked and, why the driver was refusing to move.
DPS says the bus driver and a paraprofessional on board were waiting for security to arrive when parents started demanding that their kids be let off the bus.
When you watch that video, that's tough to watch. I understand the frustration parents are having.
Deputy Superintendent Mark Ferrandino says the district has a procedure for reunification in this situation, but things were getting heated.
It might have been a different way to look at how you handled that situation, and just being able to let those kids out to be reunified with those parents.
One mom got tired of waiting. On the video, you can see Brandy Martin board the bus, and that's when the scuffle started. You can see things go back and forth, with the driver pulling her hair and Martin throwing punches, hitting him in the face. Williams says her son witnessed one of the DPS employees touching a female student inappropriately, but she did not want to go into detail.
But he did say that he did witness an unfortunate incident to where it did make him yell at the particular person to say, "Hey, don't touch her like that. What are you doing?"
Ferrandino says that's all under investigation.
We also spent time today looking at videos from the cameras that were inside the bus to understand what happened in that situation. And it's clear that was not handled to the expectations we had.
Brandy Martin was arrested by Denver police for assault. Ferrandino says both DPS employees had to go to the hospital for their injuries. Brandy Martin put out a statement online that said she's thankful for all the support and for the families who are sharing her story.
News in a case that we have been following closely here at Eyewitness News. An arrest has been made in the 1997 murder of Monica Leach, and this is a picture of the suspect now in custody, 55-year-old Kevin Ray James. And you see the resemblance to a sketch police released of the man that they were looking for. Monica Leach was a bank teller at a Western Financial Bank in Thousand Oaks when two armed men disguised as construction workers robbed the bank and shot Leach. The Ventura County Sheriff's Office has been searching for the killer ever since. More details are expected at a press conference on Tuesday.
Records of a man who's accused of kidnapping an 80-year-old woman from her Nichols home. Next, who is the man that police say killed a mother of 6 in a road rage incident while she was on vacation?
And a sunny spring day is turning into a Friday freeze in a matter of hours. ABC 15 News at 6 starts right now.
Working for you. This is ABC 15 News at 6.
First at 6, bond denied for the man Marion County deputies say kidnapped and murdered an 80-year-old woman. Dominique Brand turned himself into police last night. Mary Ann Elvington there disappeared from her Horry County home on Sunday. She lived in Nichols, right off of Highway 76. Monday afternoon, her car was found on Bobby L. Davis Boulevard in Marion County, more than 20 miles away. And last night, about 8 o'clock, her body was found 9 miles down the road.
Well, the man accused of killing her has a criminal history that dates back to 2008. We dug into Dominique Brand's background and found that he was released from prison in 2018.
And today, ABC 15's Tanya Brown learned new details about Brand's criminal record during a bond hearing.
Are you Mr. Dominique Brand? Yeah.
29-year-old Dominique Brand answered quite a few questions from the judge Thursday morning during a bond hearing. He's charged with kidnapping and murder in the death of 80-year-old Mary Ann Elvington of Horry County. Elvington's 3 adult children were in court for the hearing.
I'll never see her again. She'll be in my heart as long as I live.
Police call it one of the most heinous crimes they've ever investigated, but didn't release any details or motive during that hearing.
When's the last time you were arrested and what for?
About 10 years ago.
All right, and those were the burglaries that I seen on your criminal history this morning? All right, and you went to prison for that?
Brand's criminal record shows he served 6 years in prison after pleading guilty to 5 counts of second-degree burglary in 2012. He got out on parole in 2013. Elvington's children told the judge they may never find out why their mother was killed, but they take great comfort in knowing their mother was a good Christian with a loving heart.
That our mama went out on the shield. She raced to the finish line. She was protecting her family, and she was working for the Lord to the very last second. To the very last second.
She will be missed every single day. Every single day. She was a real hero.
Today, Scott County prosecutors filed formal charges against a Davenport man charged in the strangulation death of a 74-year-old man. 19-year-old Charlie Gary III is accused of killing Robert Long after forcibly entering his home with the intent to steal his car. It happened in January. Gary III is now charged with first-degree murder, burglary, robbery, and abuse of a corpse. The most serious charge, first-degree murder, carries an automatic sentence of life without parole if he's convicted. Gary filed a written plea of not guilty in January. Trial date is set for March 16th.
Caught on camera, a mystery man punching a 19-year-old woman in the face. Police tonight are hoping somebody can help identify him. CBS 2's Mark Liverman live in Clinton Hill, Brooklyn with more. Mark?
Well, it all happened right here in front of this deli. That woman hit so hard in the face, her head slammed into this glass before she collapsed right onto the sidewalk. All of it caught on camera. Take a look. Out of nowhere, an unknown man winds up and throws a hard, fast fist right into 19-year-old Raza Barzdukas' face. It happened right in front of this deli on Myrtle Avenue in Clinton Hill. On Friday, I spoke exclusively to that victim's mom.
She called me. She was upset. She was crying, hyperventilating.
Raza's mom begged her to stay where she was, but she was so scared she ran to Pratt Institute, where she goes to school across the street, to wait for police.
This is not normal behavior. This was just, she was walking out of the deli and she just got sucker punched. Just didn't even see it coming. It was absolutely jarring. It was crazy.
Raza was hit so hard, the back of her head smashed into the side of this deli before she collapsed to the sidewalk.
She had a fat lip, she had a bloody lip and bruising inside, and then she had a bump on the back of her head, and then she just went down.
Watch that video closely. You can clearly see the man with dreadlocks and a gray hooded sweater calmly walking up to his victim, then punching her with a closed fist before calmly walking off.
To do this to anybody. It was random. It was crazy. It was a random act of violence.
Rose says her daughter had never seen her attacker before it happened. Now, they just want this man caught.
I hope that they find this guy, because this guy is walking around the neighborhood.
And Rose tells me the day after it happened, her daughter went right back to classes here at Pratt, just trying to get back to a normal life as quickly as she could. We're live in the Clinton Hill section of Brooklyn. Mark Liverman, CBS 2 News.
Arrest after a double stabbing in Sunrise.
A woman was killed in the incident that detectives believe may have been random. Local 10's Leanne Motorhome is live in Sunrise with the very latest. Leanne.
And the suspect at the center of this stabbing reportedly refused to appear before a judge this morning. Let's show you the scene from yesterday. All of this happened just before 2 a.m. Wednesday morning at the retreat at Sawgrass Village right behind me. This is an apartment complex right next to the parking lot for Amerant Bank Arena here in Sunrise. Our cameras were there as police were inside of a parking garage. Sunrise police say that they believe that this was a, quote, random attack and that a 28-year-old woman from Boca Raton was killed in this stabbing. A second victim did survive their injuries. Now, 21-year-old Jackson Sagese was arrested and charged with premeditated murder and attempted felony murder. You're looking at his mugshot right there. This is video from his bond hearing, a hearing that he was supposed to attend but refused, according to corrections there inside of the courtroom. The judge, despite his absence, finding probable cause for the arrest, ordering him be held without bond. He's also been ordered to have no contact with the surviving victim. At this point, police have not officially confirmed the identities of the two people who were stabbed in this attack. More to come
Tonight,
on this
a family is mourning the loss of a 27-year-old businesswoman who was stabbed to death in Sunrise. A second person was also attacked with a knife, but he survived. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Juan Strader.
And I'm Lorena Inglang. Police say the man who did it is now behind bars. And NBC6's Jamie Garolo spoke with one of the victim's family members. How are they doing tonight, Jamie?
Well, not good. They are still processing everything that's happened over the last 36 hours. And while they're not ready to go on camera just yet, they did give us a statement. Tonight, we're learning more about the woman stabbed and killed in Sunrise early Wednesday morning. Haley Hosford's Instagram page highlights her success as an entrepreneur and expert stylist at just 27 years old. Hosford's stepfather tells NBC6 she was an incredible hairdresser and businesswoman. In a statement to NBC6, her stepfather added, "Our family is destroyed. This is beyond horrific. We wish this upon no family to deal with something like this. It's really incomprehensible based on all the facts, and the situation is senseless."
There was a dead person just laying in there. There was blood on the car that was next to it. And I pulled out, and as I was pulling out, all these cops were pulling in. I would say there must have been 15 cop cars coming in at the same time.
Hosford was stabbed in the neck to death in the back parking garage of an apartment complex across the street from Amerant Bank Arena. Police responded to the scene after the man she was with called 911, also saying he was stabbed in the neck and throat. An officer found Hosford's body on the floorboard of a black Mercedes. She was pronounced dead on the scene. A steak knife was found on the front passenger seat. The man she was with rushed to the hospital.
I saw it as I was kind of turning, and there was blood all over. I thought, I've got to call the police, but I saw them coming, and then I just left.
The man stabbed was able to give police a description of the attacker. A short while later, police arrested Jackson Sagassi Jr. Police tracked down Sagassi at his apartment and surrendered. Detectives found a knife in his front pocket that appeared to be from the same set as the knife in the car. Hosford's stepfather also telling us, quote, "Our prayers are with our family, and we're looking above to Haley, and it's beyond devastation and sadness." Now, the suspect allegedly made a confession, although that confession was redacted from the arrest form. He is charged with premeditated murder. Police say the motive for the attack remains
First here at
unknown.
4:30, we're learning more about the woman who was stabbed to death at a South Florida apartment complex. Hello again, everyone. Investigators say the victim was chosen at random.
Now a close friend is opening up about his heartbreak. Nicole Ensalada is live in Sunrise with more. Nicole.
Well, her name was Haley Hosford, and her family tells me that she had big plans, big dreams, a very active life, lots of friends, but that life was cut short here in this apartment complex in the parking garage earlier this week in what, as you mentioned, police say appears to be a completely random act. And now her family and her friends want everyone to know her name.
These are the ones that we'll look back and say, damn, what a damn good time.
Haley Hosford's life was about beauty. Physical beauty, yes, as a cosmetologist.
As whatever comes in contact with your hair extensions could end in disaster.
But also the beauty in the world, in experiences, and the beauty of her friendships.
Happy birthday, dear Haley.
She was a force to be reckoned with. She really was.
The ugliness of the world would cut her life short early Wednesday morning in the parking garage of the Retreat at Sawgrass apartment building. Sunrise police say 21-year-old Jackson Sagassi stabbed the 27-year-old to death as she waited for a friend who'd gone inside.
He was going in there to grab some stuff, and he was going to take her home.
Police say as she waited in the car, the suspect walks toward the victim vehicle. A metal object is visible in his right hand, reflecting light. Victim begins to exit the vehicle just as the suspect reapproaches from the driver's side. She quickly re-enters the vehicle in an apparent attempt to hide.
She noticed he was charging her, and he forced himself into the car before she had time to shut the door.
According to police, she was stabbed multiple times and would not survive. Her friend, too, was attacked when he arrived back at the car and is now in the hospital. Her friend, Aubrey Rosebrock, says it appears to be completely random and senseless.
And I know she was a fighter. I believe she fought, and I believe she was scared.
Just as she fought for her friends and her family, he says, helped people find beauty in life and in themselves. That, her best friend says, was Haley Hosford.
Her very last message to me was, I just wanted to tell you that the sun is shining, the sky is blue, the water is turquoise, and that I love you very much, and that you mean the world to me. And that was the very last thing she said. She's not a Jane Doe, and I want the world to know what her name is and who she was. There's evil, and there's good. And we lost the good. The good lost.
And I spoke briefly to her mom on the phone, as well as some other family members, and this is what they tell us in part. They say, I named her Haley after the comment, because a star was born. She was the brightest light ever. She came into the world shining. She just wanted to lift everyone up. She was a ball of fire, full of life. She was unapologetically Haley. And as they put together these final arrangements, they tell us that there will be friends coming from around the country and even around the world. And as for the person accused of doing this, he remains in jail. He is facing a charge of murder and attempted murder.
Check this one out. Woman loses it's a white woman, by the way. We'll watch the video. Woman loses $9,000 after alleged phone scammer shows up at her door. $9,000, people. $9,000. Most people don't have $9,000. Where's this 9,000 coming from? This guy goes up to this woman's door and you'll see what happened. We're going to play the video. I'm not reading the article. Let's check it out.
Thousands of dollars gone after this North Las Vegas woman willingly handed over her credit card to a scammer.
More people than ever are on alert for these kinds of crimes, but a new tactic to prey on victims is a concern for police all across the valley. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jacqueline Schultz.
And I'm John Huck. Fox 5's Molly McBride joins us in studio now with how this all started and an exclusive look at how the woman got scammed. Molly?
We reported on it in Summerlin, Henderson, and now North Las Vegas. The woman in this video handing over her card says she saw a reporting on this and felt like she needed to speak up to keep this from happening to someone else. It started with a call with her bank's caller ID.
I was at home and I got a call letting me know that there was suspicious activity on my account.
Sure enough, when she looked at her online banking account, she found 2 fraudulent charges totaling thousands of dollars. That's when the scammer said they had to secure her account immediately.
He went on to explain to me that due to the high amount of fraud that's been going on, that they would have to send a courier to pick up my card.
And within less than 10 minutes, that so-called courier arrived.
The gentleman showed up at my door and he had the passcode.
I have your access card here.
And unbelievably, I opened my door and gave him my card.
After the card is handed over, the scammer pulls out a pair of scissors, chops the card in half, and then puts her card in an envelope. The card's chip isn't damaged.
I really thought, because they were already in my account, they had my information, I didn't give them my address, they confirmed my address with me.
Now, this whole time, she's still on the phone with the original caller. But a couple minutes after she handed her card over, she gets fully locked out of her online bank account, losing access to it completely.
That's when I realized, I said, I'm in trouble here. Something's not right with this. And I just quietly hung up.
Now she jumps into action, calling her real bank, closing her accounts, and changing her passwords. $9,000 later, she's hoping her story serves as a warning before these scammers strike again.
It's embarrassing to come forward and say that you fell for something like this, that you opened your door and handed something so valuable to a complete stranger. The bottom line is, if somebody calls you, just hang up.
She tells me a representative from her bank told her the scammers had already hacked into her account when they first called. Getting the chip from her card took that scam one step further. Her bank has promised to pay back the nearly $9,000 that was stolen, but she hasn't seen the money yet. Coming up in just 30 minutes, suggestions from police about how to keep yourself from becoming these scammers' next victim.
Warning. Some of the content you're about to see may be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Boy, Donald Trump. Fuck white people, boy.
No, bitch.